Hello, everybody. Welcome to Breaking Nintendo here on Boss Rush Games. I'm your host, and that's excited Eddie B. Joining me, of course, he's back, everybody. The one, the only, Mr. Josh Martinez. Hello, good sir.
Hello, good to be back and talking some Mario Kart. This was a fun one, Ed. I didn't think I enjoyed it as much as I did, but I had fun with these two.
Oh, yes. Well, before we get into the Mario Kart discussion, this Nintendo Direct. I know this is old news by the time you guys seen this. When they said that Game Boy and Game Boy Advance was dropping, and this came up on it for Mario Kart Super Circuit, I'm like, oh, they're starting out this mug with a bang because I never got to play Super Circuit, and I'm so happy that I got to play. We're gonna get into it, but I am so happy to play this. It kind of feels like if they could just get Wii Wii and GameCube on here, we will almost be set. Because I don't know how the DS and 3DS will play on Switch yet. Like
Right.
I'm trying to figure that. I'm like, how would you guys do a two split screen on probably on the TV they could do it, and probably if you play it on your Switch, you could probably move it up and down to get it. But I don't know how they would do DS and 3DS on the Switch
They
with
could do it like a
touchscreen.
mess. Remember how they did on the Wii U? You had to like turn the gamepad sideways and then
Uh-huh.
like how did you I played Phantom Hourglass that way. It was a mess. It was that game's already a mess, but that was a mess to play it that way.
Oh,
I think I
Phantom
gave
Hour.
up.
Yeah, they would have to remake that whole game and just be like, give us control of of Link. We can't do it with the stylus because this is just not working. This is too all this touching and moving is way too much for
I
it.
will say, in fairness to the 3DS, they started to go away from that a little bit as the console went on. Because I mean, you got Kid Icarus doing that, but
Mhm.
by the I'm playing A Link Between Worlds finally. There's no real, there's no like stylus or anything. It's just handheld, so
I
it's nice.
I I want Link to the Past redone in that style so bad
Oh, that'd
for
be
Link
good.
Between Worlds.
That'd be so good.
Well, everybody, we're going to get into this Mario Kart discussion. This is part two. We are ranking Mario Kart Super Circuit for the uh, Nintendo Game Boy Advance, and we are ranking Mario Kart Double Dash for the Nintendo GameCube. Just to remind everybody where our ranking is, we have Mario 64 as number one and Super Mario Kart as number two. So we're adding two more games. So I wonder, can one of these games take the top spot? And where where does the other game go? We will discuss.
Let's
But
do
before
it.
before we get into that, we're going to get into some history, and we're going to start off with Super Mario Kart. Mario Kart Super Circuit, and I got to let everybody know that um, they dropped the Super from the Mario Kart name, and this is when it started be called. They started calling the series Mario Kart. So Mario Kart Super Circuit was released on the Game Boy Advance in Japan on July 2000. I'm sorry. Sorry, right. I forgot the date about that. It was July 21st, 2001. America on August 27th, 2001, and in Europe on September 14th, 2001. It was developed by Intelligent System and the only Mario Kart game that they created for the series. I'm about to say Mortal Kombat on accident. Don't you sometimes see some initials and you think of other games? Sometimes you like that's not the right initial for those games or abbreviations, I should say, not initials. For it. The game sold 5.91 million copies. It contains 40 tracks. It was released on the 3DS, Wii U, and Nintendo Switch. The characters in the game are Mario, Luigi, Peach, Toad, Yoshi, Donkey Kong, Bowser, and Wario. Now, the reason why the game has 40 tracks is because some of the tracks that they have in it are the Super Nintendo versions of that track. So you got the original Game Boy Advance version, and then you have the Super Nintendo version for that track. So in it, it has 5 circuits, and um, before we get into the circuits, did you play this one when it originally came out, Josh?
No, so I remember it coming out, and I think I sat in this crowd of I liked Mario 64 so much that playing Super Circuit looked like a downgrade. And at the
Hmm.
time, so we're talking 2001. I was 10, so you know back then we only got limited games. Like it's not like today where I could go get whatever game I want or load up my library. So we were kind of picky, and my brothers and I just kind of passed on this one. Um, I mean, it looked interesting to try, but it was low on my priority list. I never
Hmm.
got around to it until earlier this week.
Yeah, I was 21 when this game came out. I was already, I had, it was 2 years that I graduated from high school and I was in college during this time and also working. So I kind of didn't get it because Mario Kart for the N64 was like the last Mario Kart I had played until Double Dash came out. So I wasn't even thinking about it on the Game Boy Advance. I was so much into other games at that time, so I completely skipped this game. So playing it on Switch Online really made me, have my thoughts about it. But I can understand why it sold so many and why it got the rankings that it got. Um, so for this one, it has the Mushroom Cup, Flower Cup, Lightning Cup, Star Cup, and a Special Cup. And Lightning Cup is the new one because they only really just had like 3 cups. Mushroom, Mushroom, Fire, and Star. And if you beat all of those on 150 and unlock everything, then the Special Cup opens and stuff.
Which I did not do.
Uh, 150 will get you. They do not juggle 150. I'll be like,
Well,
So,
what's funny
okay.
is I thought I really liked 150 on the older games. I go back and try and play like Super Mario Kart, even Mario 64. I struggled on 150. I do it great on 8, but not on the old games at all. It's
Yeah,
because they spin out. I forgot they did that.
yeah, and then there's like, I didn't get the drifting mechanic because I used to always press the R button so I could jump and like try to angle right when I do my turns and stuff. So I never thought of the drifting. And on some games I could never get it. I did get it on Double Dash back when I back when that game came out, and I played it like, I want to say religiously. Like I learned that whole game. But then like after that, I was just like, oh, I'm so bad at Mario Kart. I don't know why. I love playing 50. I get my challenge on 100, but 150 is just like, what am I doing wrong and everything. So, uh, but I gotta ask you, what was your favorite character in this game? Because to me, I picked Yoshi. Yoshi's always my guy. Um, in Mario Kart. Besides Double Dash, and I'll tell why in Double Dash. Double Dash had changed, but Yoshi was my guy in this one. Who was yours?
I always went with Wario. Up until, and we'll talk about this with the next one, but Wario was my guy. Just and here's part of the reason. Like you remember what the late '90s was like:
Mm-hmm.
attitude, everybody rebelling, and Wario just felt like that, like counterculture. Like, oh, Mario's like the main guy. Well, I'm gonna go with the guy who's the complete opposite of him. And so I always picked Wario growing up. That switched once Waluigi entered the chat, but Wario was my guy, and I used him in this one a lot. And I liked too that I could like he might be a little bit slower, but he could push people around. Like I love getting a good head of steam and just hitting somebody off the track. And it was like Wario could do that, DK, Bowser, that those three could do it, but Wario, I loved wrecking people with Wario.
I can't say when I was playing Super Circuit, when I my turning is terrible. The turning in this game is kind of terrible in this game, and I don't know why. I think because I tried to put the analog and then I did it with the directional pad, and it was just like I was sliding each and everywhere. I'm like, what in the world is with the control? Like, why am I sliding it? Like the sensitivity in turning is bad in this game,
Yeah, I mean,
and I don't know why.
you totally blew my mind here, Ed. I forgot that the GBA did not have like a like the joystick.
Hmm.
I don't know why. It's because I'm playing it on the Switch. So I'm used to
Yes,
I drive that. I could not imagine doing this with the directional pad. This is nonsense. Like the turning is hard. Like I struggled with the joystick. I couldn't do this on the pad at all. I don't know. How did people do this back in the day?
I really don't know. And see, and I think it's because of if you had the Super Nintendo, you play Super Mario 64. I mean, not 64 Mario 64. If you had the Super Nintendo and you played Super Mario Kart, you could kind of adjust on how to play because the GBA was pretty much smaller size of the Super Nintendo, like a
Hmm.
16-bit Super Nintendo in your hand. So being able to control it, and I think it's because you have more control of the GBA being in your hand, it was easy. But I didn't expect this game to have me slipping and slide. It felt like every level was ice, an ice level. And I don't know why. I'm like, why is this so different? Because even when I was drifting and trying to go, there's no indication that you could let go of the drifting so you could go fast and stuff. Like, yes, you still gotta get the 10 coins to go faster. Yes, you still gotta use your items that you get out, but it was just like stuff I was missing, and I wonder is because are the tracks so short? Because these tracks are short because it's a handheld game. Um, I did not. I just it felt so weird playing this game and be like, if I actually played this on the Game Boy Advance, I probably would have stopped playing like a month.
Right. Well, and I mean, you mentioned the rankings. How many people put this near the bottom? I think this one and Super Mario Kart typically are the bottom, and I think it's because that was the thing. The controls, the drifting reminded me a lot of Super Mario Kart, but
Mhm.
I had an easier time. But I agree, I was slipping all over the place, especially on these like on Bowser's Castle. I was slipping off into the
Ooh,
lava a lot. And that's not even an ice level. You're on, yeah, that's not an ice level at all. And yeah, I hated it. And then there'd be sometimes I turn and I don't know what would happen. I start like driving sideways because I'm like
exactly.
sliding. It was so weird. No, I agree with you on that one.
And the boot tracks, if you hit like the side of it, the that piece disappear. So if you turn and you hit and you think that you're going to hit something, that thing disappears. So you're sliding off the track. And I understand the challenge. I get it, but this game could have been tweaked a little bit better and stuff. And I don't I can actually tell you I do not have a favorite track out of this game because of the drifting of the turns. It all feels non Nintendo. It doesn't have the right quality. And I understand this is intelligent system doing it. I think they did not knock it out the park. I think they tried to do something and it didn't work. It just didn't work for me for this game.
Now there
Uh,
are a few of the courses that did make it up and I kind of used 8 as a gauge because
Hmm.
they wouldn't bring back so many courses that weren't somewhat good. Ribbon Road was one that had an amazing remake on Mario Kart 8. It was not fun on this course on this game, but it was kind of fun to go back there. What's another one? Mario Circuit was one that got the Mario Kart 8 remake treatment. I mean, there were a few that I was okay with. I didn't love them, but I didn't hate them. But there was a good chunk that I just despised. I don't- I did enjoy this better than I thought I would, but we're talking. I My experience was a D instead of an F, so it's not. Is that really much of an improvement?
If you want to be a Patreon producer, head on over to patreon.com/bossrushmedia and find out which tier is right for you. Our Patreon producers at the $5 tier or higher for this month are Adriel Munger, Austin Campbell, Celeste Roberts, Christian S., Sana Dierig, Francisco Santillan, and Rebecca Jewell. Thank you for your continued support.
Uh, well, surprisingly, this game got a Metacritic of 93 out of 100.
Wait a minute, what?
Yes. Back in the day, EGM gave it 25.5 out of 30. This is when they had 3 reviewers. Eurogamer gave it 9 out of 10. Famitsu 34 out of 40. GamePro 18 out of 20. GameSpot 8.2 out of 10. GameSpy 96 out of 100. Games Radar Plus 95 out of 100. IGN 9.5 out of 10. Uh, uh, wholevideo.com 18 out of 20. It may be like a Spanish website. And Nintendo Life gave the 3DS version 7 out of 10 and the Wii U version a 7 out of 10. It did get Editor's Choice Award from IGN. Um,
That
so,
has to be because it's mobile, right? I mean, gameplay wise, it's because I mean we'll talk about them in later episodes. But when Mario Kart went mobile, that was a lot of fun. That
mhm.
has to be the newness of this one because this is the first handheld Mario Kart game, and maybe you and I are looking at it compared to modern standards because by modern standards, this one is a mess. But if we look at maybe at the time, this is only the third one. I don't know. That baffles me that it's that high of rankings from everybody. I have to lean to. I think it's the portability of the game.
Well, I think that the like I don't have a problem with the game. I just think it's the turning mechanic. Something is just not something's not tight about it because you can feel the tightness in Double Dash compared to the tightness of here. There's just something loose that all the characters have, and I understand that they all have um different rankings and stuff. But when you're jumping to do the turn, to do it and everything, it shouldn't feel like you're doing a regular turn. That's one of the things in racing games that I always have a problem with, is that the turning part is so unrealistic and everything. It's like it's very over exaggerated. And I know they want you to buy parts to get the turning better. But if you bought a car in real life, when you do a turn, you're not turning like that in real
Right.
life. And I understand this game is very arcadey, but I'm just like, this turning should have been better in this game. Um, just to run quickly down everybody what the levels are. You have Boo Lake, Bowser Castle 1, GBA, and Super Nintendo. Bowser Castle 2, Game Boy, GBA, and Super Nintendo. And Bowser Castle 3, GBA, Super Nintendo. Bowser Castle 4, Broken Pier, Cheap Cheap Island, Cheese Land 1, Choco Island 1 and 2, Donut Plains 1, 2, and 3, Ghost Valley 1, 2, and 3, Cuba Beach 1 and 2, um, Lakeside Park, Luigi's Circuit, which is original for Game Boy Advance, Mario Circuit, And then you got for Mario Circuit for the Game Boy Advance, you got Mario Circuit 1, 2, 3, and 4. You got Peach Circuit, Rainbow Road, Game Boy Advance, and Super Nintendo. Ribbon Road, Riverside Park, Shy Guy Beach, Sky Garden, Snowland, Sunset Wilds, Vanilla Lake 1 and 2, and Yoshi's Desert. So, and most of that is like when you are unlocking from the game. You don't get a lot of those from the start. So most of it is just unlocking throughout the game. But
Yeah,
goodness gracious.
I only played the preloaded ones. The Mushroom Flower, Thunder, and Star Cup special was locked. Um, yeah, so my judgments are basically on those 16 courses, which I'll give the courses this, you know, they were pretty to look at. Like they had some
Yes.
really good, and that's the thing because compared to Super Mario Kart, those were very dull background. Because I mean, like you look at Yoshi Desert, there's like a Yoshi Sphinx in the background,
Hmm.
pyramids. Sky Garden was a gorgeous one. Just really cool art in the background that made, even if it was frustrating to turn, these were some really gorgeous courses.
Yes. That I will agree. So that's gonna be it for Super Circuit. You have anything else? Because I I this game. Uh
I I will say it was a rough ride, no pun intended, but it was better than I thought it would be. I came into this
mhm.
hearing all the hate on it, all the oh this is just an awful game. You can just skip over this one. Going into it, it surprised me a little bit. I think I did find myself enjoying parts of it, and then I'd go spin out for no reason at all. But um, I did enjoy it a little bit more than I thought I would. So it was in that way a pleasant surprise as an overall game. I think I'll come back to it, but I did enjoy it a lot more than I thought I would.
Right. If I just want to feel like to fool around or something, I'll check it out. But uh that game. Yes. But then this one, ooh, Mario Kart Double Dash for the Nintendo GameCube, is released in Japan on November 7th, 2003, the US on November 14th, in Europe November 17th, in Australia on November 19th, all in 2003, all in the same month. It was developed by Nintendo EAD. It sold 7 million copies. It contains 16 tracks, and plus there's a mirror mode, so those tracks are in reverse. And there are 20 characters in the game. It's Mario, Luigi, Peach, Toad, Yoshi, Bowser, Donkey Kong, Wario, Daisy, Diddy Kong, Koopa Troopa, Koopa Paratrooper, Bowser Jr., Waluigi, Birdo, Toadette, Baby Mario, Baby Luigi, Petey Piranha, and King Boo. Um, the duos have special items when paired correctly. So if you pair them correctly, everybody, uh, you will get like special. When you're picking up item boxes, you would get special uh, abilities and everything to use. So the characters that if you paired up was going to be Mario, Luigi, they have fireballs. Peach and Daisy, they have hearts. Donkey Kong and Diddy Kong had giant bananas. Bowser and Bowser Jr. had Bowser shells. Wario and Waluigi had bombs. Yoshi and Birdo had eggs. Toad and Toadette had golden mushrooms. Uh, the Koopa Troopa and Paratrooper, they had triple red green shells. And then Mario and Luigi, they had the Baby Mario and Baby Luigi had the chain chops. Petey Piranha and King Boo have the unique ability to use any of the other characters' special items, excluding Luigi's green fireball and Birdo eggs. Um, now Whew, this game because it's so good. This to me literally is the best out of all the Mario Karts. Literally the best Mario Kart game. I'm sorry, Mario Kart 8. I feel like you're the second best, But Double Dash is so good. And I remember taking my GameCube to my friend's house during that time. 'Cause I was at JCPenney, and I would take my GameCube there, and we would play Double Dash. We had drinks and food and everything, and we would use a split screen, the three-way split screen, so we would have the map like in the bottom corner, and we would just go at it for hours, like for an hour and a half or 2 hours before we had to leave, popping each other with the red shells. And this is when they introduced the blue shell, where if you get number one, and someone gets it, they can knock you out unless you have like a star. Also, this is the one that you can lose your items if you get hit. So if you had like a mushroom in your hand, in the person's hand, and they got hit with a red shell and didn't know, or they slipped on something, they would lose their item on the ground. So when you're driving, you might see four mushrooms, which give you power to go turbo and everything. And I remember uh winning a race because one of my friends dropped their mushroom, and I needed that boost to go. So I hit the mushroom, I got the go to mushroom, and I'm just going into it. I'm hearing the item by them. This, because they added more items to this one, and for it. So, but my pairing for this was Koopa Trooper and Yoshi on this one. I will always power them up, but sometimes I would do Koopa Trooper and Toad and stuff for it. What about you, Josh?
So I would always do Wario and Waluigi, kind of continuing my Wa theme. But
Hmm.
yeah, I would do those a lot, and sometimes I'd mix and match. Throw Bowser and Wario on there, or Waluigi and Bowser. Um, but yeah, I used to. Apparently, I just like the bad guys. Apparently, but but no, I would do that. And I totally forgot until so I had to, because there's no way to play this one right now without forking out hundreds of dollars for a GameCube. So I watched a video that went through all of the cups. I totally
Hmm.
forgot about the special items. Eh, Watching that through, but yeah, I used to. I remember now. I used to pair up Wario and Waluigi to get those bombs, and I love just sniping people with them. And I think it's important to mention too. Not only did the pairings come with special items,
Yeah.
but I think this is the first time that the carts changed. You couldn't really customize them, but they changed with your characters. Like
Yes.
Wario and Waluigi had like that big Batmobile looking thing.
Uh huh.
Donkey Kong and Diddy Kong had that barrel. The babies were in the stroller. Like it kind of set the trend that in the future we'll be able to customize our carts. But this kind of started here. Even though you couldn't customize, you picked your right player, you got a different cart, and that was really cool. I remember that being super cool at the time.
Yeah. Like it. They never explained that to you. Like when I got Double Dash, I did. They never explained of okay, you need to pick the same people to get this particular card. It was that if you win, this is what you unlock and stuff. You know, it brings so much joy because this is when the red shells really became important and everything,
Hmm.
because the red shells, like if they're turning and they're close to the edge, you can hit them, spin them out, and let them fall and everything. And I think this has some of the best track designs in it.
Oh,
Um,
these are fantastic tracks.
oh,
These are some good. There's a reason why whenever you pull back Mario Kart tracks, a good
uh,
chunk come from this game. Like we get a lot of them that always come back as retro tracks that come out of this game because they're all so good.
yes. So to let everybody know, they have 16 tracks. It's Baby Park, Barcer's Castle, Daisy's Cruiser, Dino Dino Jungle, DK Mountain, Dry Desert, the Luigi Circuit, the Mario Circuit, which is GameCube, Mushroom Bridge, Mushroom City, uh, Peach Beach, Rainbow Road, Sherbert Land, Waluigi Stadium, Wario Coliseum, and Yoshi Circuit. And I gotta tell you, I love DK Mountain. When you're when you go up and like paraglide all the way to the top and then come down and then you gotta down what is it not downshift, it's down something where you're racing downhill. I think it's downhill driving.
Okay. I'm
And
trying to
you
remember
kind of
too.
and you gotta keep redoing that. It's just the Mario these levels in Mario Kart Double Dash somehow felt like a roller coaster, besides like the baby circuit one, because with baby park you are on this short little kind of like amusement park kind of track, and it just goes around and you have to do it 7 times.
That was too much for me.
Because they were short. That was the thing
Hmm.
about it. They did have, they have another level that you only did 2 laps because it was just a long one.
Yeah, that
Uh,
was Wario Coliseum. Was that one?
yes. So, of course, you still had, uh, well, you had like battle, you had time. I didn't know that this one had land play. So, this game has Double Dash features land play using the Nintendo GameCube broadband adapter. Up to 8 GameCube consoles can be connected, allowing for 16-player multiplayer races with 2 players controlling each cart.
That's right. That was back when that was huge. Like,
Mm-hmm.
not just GameCube was doing that, but Xbox. Like, you could hook up and have 16 people play Halo or something
Yes.
like that. That was just back at that time, and I totally forgot. Man, the GameCube was such a good console because it did a lot of these cool things. Yeah, it
Uh,
didn't have the DVD player, but it did some cool things, and that was one of them.
Josh, we did a regular Nintendo console. So we have the GameCube ranked. We had a discussion about that. It's on our YouTube page on Boss Social Media. Everybody, you guys can check it out. We literally just talked about all the a whole bunch of games, and now seeing like if Nintendo goes forward doing like these GameCube remasters on Switch, they have such a strong library to pick from, you know, and everything. Now, of course, Mario Kart Double Dash can be remade, get remade or remastered because of how Mario Kart 8 is doing successfully. But if they were to drop GameCube for Switch Online expansion pass, oh, people gonna up them coins to get it if they have not played, if they don't have it,
Yeah,
because
I mean,
Double Dash. Oh, good.
I was going to say adding the Game Boy made the NSO so much more worth it. You add
Mm-hmm.
Game Boy in, or excuse me, GameCube in there. I mean, you're getting an amazing value. Even if you just throw like 3 or 4 games off the GameCube into there, if Double Dash is one of them, I mean, they're going to up their subscriptions like significantly if they do that. So,
and
no,
and it's only $50 a year. Then it's like
mhm.
they're not charging you more or anything. You get 6 systems for $50 a year, with games being added on, with free DLC unless you subscribe. That's
Well,
that's awesome.
and then on top of all that, if you have friends or a family, you can pay less. I'm on a family plan with my
Mhm.
brother. I only paid 20 for the year. So it's like,
Nice.
yeah, so like that's the way to do it. My brother, his brother-in-law's in there, so we all just split it 4 ways, and I'm like, that's how you do it. Yeah, I paid $20 and I got all this content, And
Nice.
so yeah, I mean it's so worth it. Even if you pay the full amount, it's so worth it. And you add
Yes.
GameCube in there, man, all bets are off on that.
I we were we're gonna get back into this ranking. Watching that episode, we ended up having more of a discussion about PlayStation 2 and Xbox and why that era of gaming people had their opinion of Nintendo. But you look at Nintendo's first party and why people still to this day want to play GameCube on Switch. um, they just had a straight, strong library of first party games. And still to this very day, if you look at Nintendo GameCube games, they still look good. So looking at Metro Prime Remastered, you'd be like, if y'all remaster a lot of Nintendo games, like really give it some oomph, they could really look like today's current gen games, and you would
Hmm.
not even believe it. Be like, this was in the 2000s? Yes, this was in the 2000s.
Well, and I'll say this too, and then we can move on off after this. But the GameCube, a lot of people might not say because they downgraded Nintendo to the kid console, quote unquote, because the PlayStation had Final Fantasy and a lot of more adult games or whatever
Mhm.
you were. I felt like the GameCube brought an edge that the Nintendo 64 did not have because Metroid Prime looked a little bit more darker, more of a mature game, not necessarily inappropriate mature, but just like it looked like it grew up. Luigi's Mansion was goofy, but that was kind of different for what Nintendo did at the time.
Mhm.
Melee, oh my goodness, that one brought out a lot of like
Ooh, ooh, yes.
that game. I felt like Nintendo went from being the kid brand to being a little bit more of like that edgier
It,
teenager with
this
that.
is we had a me and Corey had a discussion about this on Expression Pass up thing, and we always felt like that stereotype of, oh, Nintendo's for kids, and I always felt like if Nintendo games are for kids, why can't you still not beat Mario Brothers 1 without having to work with it, or you can't do this, like, and we got to talking about it. We got talking about it that if you literally play a Nintendo game all the way straight and you try to get everything, it is hard as ever. You are not going to be able to 100% a Yoshi game. If you if you're trying to get everything, Nintendo is going to make you work.
Well,
F
and
Zero. Oh, go ahead.
I was going to say not just that, but like Metroid Prime, for example, that game, that game, I thought explored some really, yeah, you were in space fighting aliens, but at the end, I mean, I thought this was really well animated. Samus looks like she went through something, like she has
Yeah.
PTSD. I'm like, that's kind of a more of a, that's not a kid topic. Kids don't know what PTSD is, or like in that sense, like it was cool because when I beat the game initially, and I'm not spoiling anything, but at the end, once you get through everything, Sam is just, you can tell that she'd been through something, and that's
Hmm.
something that was such a subtle thing in there that wasn't going to talk to kids. That was going to talk to the older audience, and I mean, even that meant a lot more too going forward. If we look at what happened in in like real life events with the war in Iraq at that time, that was something that related into some things that were going on at the time, and it's just, I don't know. I could break down into analysis of that all day long, but no, I the GameCube I thought really helped evolve Nintendo into what it is today. It really branched it from the N64 on, and bringing us back, I thought Double Dash really set the standard for what Mario Kart would be in the future because this is the first game, in my opinion, that felt alive, and it was because it was 3D live rendered things or characters. You had like when you get hit with the blue shell, you're dragging your partner behind you. They're talking, they're looking, they're turning their heads. You didn't have that in the first three games, Ed. It was just,
No.
it was cool. Like this game really opened up what Mario Kart would be, and you mentioned it too with the craziness with the items and everything. This reminded me a lot of what Mario Kart would become, and I think this game, without it, we wouldn't be where we're at today.
And it's so weird when you beat on Double Dash, when you beat a special on 150 after you do the Rainbow Road and everything. It says executive producer Satoru Iwata, and I'm just like,
Oh,
it's just like seeing his name in Nintendo games. Like I don't know if Iwata looked and played some of the games and stuff before he gets the seal of approval or anything. But I'm just like, you know when Iwata's hands been on something, or you know that I'm like, okay, he gave the approval for this because when you see that, it's just not like, oh, he's executive producer, because he's running Nintendo. He's the he's the president of something. No, if Iwata's gonna be president, he's gonna look at some stuff. He's gonna get his hands on. Miyamoto, of course, is gonna say some things to give ideas to the development teams and stuff like that. But I'm like, Iwata is a developer. He's a programmer. He knows what he does. If he sees something and it's not right, he's gonna call it out and be like, you know what, we could fix this before we ship it and everything. And I think that's why GameCube, I personally feel, probably have a lot of hits. And I think this is why Double Dash is so beloved by so many. And I understand Mario Kart, like I said, I understand Mario Kart 8 Deluxe now is the ultimate Mario Kart. Like they said, this is the Smash Ultimate of arcade racing for the Mario Kart series. But Double Dash was just something. It was it was different. It was kind of innovative with the way like people co-op and having two players rest on one cart, one controlling the item and one focusing on the driving and everything. Like, yes, it was couch co-op playing, but it was so fun. And I think the tracks are so easy to learn and everything, and the drifting. So the drifting is better in this game. So when you drift, you will look at your wheels and they will turn different colors. So they'll kind of be like a little fire, and then a big orange fire, and then it turns blue. When you release it on the blue, it gives you a boost, a mini turbo, and everything. So it's there's indications that you are drifting, and okay, bam, now you can hit it. And so that innovative gameplay gave people the advantage to be like, instead of you just trying to get mushrooms to catch up, we have something here for you to stay on the track and make it go faster and make it very competitive. You know.
right. And I think what's cool about that is because that mechanic was in Mario 64, but it was
Mhm.
so subtle that it was easy to miss it. I used to drift and not realize I was drifting in Mario 64 because you had the little smoke that come out and it changed the color, but it was so, if you didn't pay attention, you didn't know what it was. This one was so obvious that you were drifting that it
Mhm.
taught you. Because that's what's important is for a game to be able to teach you without having to throw up menus or tutorials or whatever it is. This game taught you how to race without actually teaching you because it would throw in the fire in there to teach you how to drift. And by like the third race in the cup, in your first cup, you've got it down because it was so easy to pick up. And that's, I think, a testament to this game being so accessible to casual gamers because you could, if you didn't want to drive, you could just control and be on the back of the cart and control the items. You could like
Yes.
play with your little brother. You could do that. The Like you said, the courses were pretty easy to learn. I thought this game was so accessible to new, right, to new racers, and I had played this game after playing Mario 64, so I understood how it went. But you know, this one, I think if you never played a Mario Kart game, coming into this one, it was so easy to pick up. And you could go play with your friend who had never played a Mario Kart game before, and they wouldn't feel like they didn't know what they're doing.
And I think for a lot of people who don't know, this game really had a lot of secrets on the track, a lot of pathways to make you get to other places faster and everything. And I love that. There's one of the tracks. I, I, is it? No, is it? I think it's Dino Dungeon. It's one of them where you're racing and there's so many pathways to go before you get to the end and you turn around. I cannot think of it. Uh,
Was it Mushroom City? I think that was the one you're in like this city at night, and there was a couple different like streets you could turn down that would take you. They'd all take you to the same way, but they were. It was kind of like a Yoshi Valley type level where there was different paths. There was one that was
hold on.
shorter than the other. Um, it might be Mushroom City. Maybe I'm wrong,
Hold on.
but
Yoshi Valley, is that the one that they had like? What was your? Which one was Yoshi Valley in? Was that
that was
Mario
in
Kart 64?
64. That was the one with the giant egg at the end of the course.
And was it like it had different hills and everything. It's just like everybody
Mm-hmm.
was on different, and you would go through like a little cave and stuff, and then everybody would turn around on a bridge to come back and go for. I thought that was Double Dash, but
No,
it's
that one
64.
was in 64, and that was the one. Remember, you never knew who was in first. They just had question marks.
Yes, yes.
Yeah, so
I think
that one was not in Double Dash. It was in 64, but they used that concept in other games, and I think they used it in this one on one, maybe two of the levels. But there were ones that had branching paths, not as dramatic as Yoshi Valley, but yeah,
uh,
that concept was used in this game. I think I'm pretty sure it was Mushroom City, which was largely a forgettable course, minus the different paths.
yeah, because you was driving on uh the track and stuff because it was like city streets and everything.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, you had the top and you had the bottom one at times.
Yep, that's right.
Yeah. So, well, Josh, it is time for us to rank these two games along with the other four. So, like I said, everybody, we got Mario Kart 64 as number one and Super Mario Kart as number two. Josh, where where would you place Super Mario? Not Super Mario. Keep saying that Super Mario. Mario Kart Super Circuit. Where would you place it at?
I think I would put it second to last. And I think the only redeeming thing about it is the courses look great. I did enjoy this one a little bit more than Super Mario, the SNES one.
Okay.
So I think me personally, I would put it above Super Mario Kart. But if you were to ask me a week later, maybe I change my mind on that. There's those two are just kind of in their own little world, doing their own thing. But as of right now, I do think I'd rank it above Super Mario Kart.
I think I'm gonna agree with you. Uh, I think I think Mario Kart Super Circuit is not bad, and plus I think a lot of the tracks that you get in Mario Kart Super Circuit is in the Super Nintendo, so you got both of the best of both worlds really in
Hmm.
that. So I would put Super Mario Kart as number four, and then Mario Kart Super Circuit as number three.
And I think
So
one thing
where
too with that
okay.
game too, the portability of it really helped. It, I mean, now it's not that big of a deal because you can play Mario Kart 8 on the go, but at the time that was a game changer, and it did lead to two other handheld titles
Mhm.
following it. But that was an innovative part of Super Circuit. I'm doing it too, Ed.
So where do we place Mario Kart Double Dash? I'm sorry, it has to be number one for me. It's top tier for me. Number one.
So if you would have asked me 2 weeks ago when we did the other episode, just kind of remembering the game, I probably would have put it behind Mario 64. After reliving it, so when I watched the video on it, I was like, "Oh no, this is unlocking a lot of things that I totally forgot about, and I forgot how much I love this game." I don't know if I just locked this game in the Shadow Realm or what, but I just was like, I I've got to rank it above Mario 64 because
Hmm.
Mario 64 has a lot of flaws. Nostalgia carries that one for me, but when I look at this game is just a good game. And I don't know if I'd go as far as you to say it's the best one, but it's definitely up there. It's really, really good. And, you know, like I said, I think the accessibility of it is what made it so good. And I forgot to mention this earlier. This was the first game that you didn't have to place in the top four to advance. The point
Yes.
spread went all the way down to eighth. So you could, so if you lost the race, finished in sixth or seventh, you could still move on, but you had a bigger gap to overcome, which is fun. Like it's always fun to have a gap to overcome and to come from behind to win. So I liked that, and I think that's a very good trait that it had because I hated when I would play the older games, get in fifth, and I'd have to go race again. I was like, I don't want to race again. This one did away with that. It was accessible. It looked gorgeous. We're playing these courses today. I mean, Yoshi Island, Sherbert Land, um, Waluigi Stadium was cool. I mean, this was just a fun game. It's one for me right now.
Yes. What was it? Wario's one that looked like the truck driving. Uh, I think it's Wario's.
So both
That
of them. So Waluigi's looked a lot like the old Wario Stadium. Like it was like the dirt bike racetracks, which I think is why I like them
yeah.
so much.
I think that's the one I'm thinking of because like the Wario Coliseum had that chain rep going up in the
Yeah.
middle. Yeah.
Well, and I
Yeah.
think both of those really shot out to. I mean, you got to go back again to 2003. Like, what was cool was the guys skateboarding, riding their bikes, like MTV guys, the guys who used to be on Jackass. They were like
Hmm.
doing their own shows, Viva La Bam, Wild Boys. Like, those were just the cool things at the time. So having Wario Coliseum and Waluigi Stadium be like dirt bike tracks was like
Yeah.
really tapped into what was cool in 2003. And I think that for me, that's why I like the courses so much. It just was, I'm like, I didn't skateboard, I didn't ride dirt bikes or anything, but riding on these courses was so much fun. But yeah,
I,
like
I, I will
those
say
courses were fun.
I will say with the Waluigi one, I hated being in the air and my friends hit me with a red shell because I will fall down. I'll be in first and drop to seventh or eighth. And I'll be like, no. And you are literally at the end because you got to make that jump come down. And I think you do like a left turn going straight to. I hate it when they would do something while I'm in the air and I would fail the jump and I would have to redo most of the whole track again and they would win. We used to put the controller down, like we would finish the race, put the controller down, and we would silently crack up because we couldn't wake up my friends' parents and stuff. But we would ball out laughing because of the hilarity in the empire. Like we were getting competitive, and we knew it was just a game, but we would laugh when the smart strategy make us feel stupid because it was just like this is nonsense. How the heck in the air that you hit me with a red shell and I fell down? Good
Yeah,
on you
no,
because you took. Good on you because you did what you had to do. But why now?
I I always tell my friend and I in college we would race Mario Kart 8 on the Wii U, and he he would always snipe me out of nowhere with a shell, and I'd get ticked off at him. I'm like, dude, what the heck? I thought we were friends. He's like, all is fair in Mario Kart, man. All is fair, and I had to agree with him. Although I do behave, I try not to hit my wife when we race, but she'll hit me with her shells.
So well, everybody, our ranking now stands as number one, Super Mario, not Super Mario, dang it, Mario Kart Double Dash. Number two, Mario Kart 64. Number three, Mario Kart Super Circuit. And number four, Super Mario Kart. Josh, I want to thank you so much. This was a great discussion.
Oh,
Had
that
so much fun.
dude, this one, like I said, I didn't come into it remembering that I enjoyed it as much as I did, but when I watched
Mhm.
that, it was like a 50-minute video on YouTube of all the courses. It just unlocked so many memories. I'm like, this game is so much fun. Why do we not have it anywhere to play? I just
Exactly.
was so much fun.
Ooh, you know,
Oh, I'm I normally mute my mic before the bell chimes. I have a old clock that chimes at the half hour.
Aw. Well, everybody, we have two more episodes in because we have two more games. We have Mario Kart DS and Mario Kart Wii, which will be our next two games. And then everybody, our final one, Mario Kart 7 and Mario Kart 8. And we are including Deluxe in there and Tour. We're going to talk a little bit about Tour. And if we have time, we'll probably talk a little bit about Mario Kart Live. But Mario Kart Live Home Circuit won't be part of these rankings.
It's a cool concept. It's a really cool concept.
Yes. And Tour is not going to be ranked, but we are going to talk a little bit about it and everything. So those are our future episodes that you guys can check in. But our next discussion will be Mario Kart DS and Mario Kart Wii. Josh, go ahead and plug. Where can people find you?
You can find me on Twitter at jmartinez064, where I am tweeting about everything wrestling right now. Anybody who's following me, I've been geeking out about this Roman Reigns, Sami Zayn story. If you have no idea what that is, just read 5 of my tweets and you'll know all about it, because I have nothing better to talk about on Twitter. But it's been one heck of a ride right now in wrestling. But anyway, you can follow me Twitter, jmartinez064 for there. I tweet out a lot of my writings. I'm a copy editor on the bossrush.net, where you'll find my writings alongside a lot of other talented writers. So be sure to head on over there. We'd love for you to read our stuff, and we got a lot of cool things cooking over there.
Yes, I admit I need to. I have some mentors that I am going to start and be sitting in, and then I have an editorial that I'm getting ready to start writing and sitting in. By the time you guys see this video, it'll probably be out. So hopefully you guys come to bossrush.net and enjoy them. If you want to follow me, I'm on Twitter at thatretrocode, and you can follow more of us at bossrush.net and follow us on our Discord for Boss Rush Media. And if you want to check out more of our rankings and shows, go to Boss Rush Media on YouTube. And check out our podcast on Spotify, Anchor, wherever you get your podcast. With that, everybody, have a great week, have a great weekend, and we'll see you next time on Ranking Nintendo. Bye, everybody.
See you later.
Nintendo Expansion Pass is part of Nintendo Power Block and is a product of Boss Rush Media LLC. The show is recorded from our headquarters in Akron, Ohio, and is hosted by me, Edward Varnell. My co-host is Corey Derrick. You can find Corey at IamCoreyNHD on Twitter and Instagram, as well as hosting the Boss Rush Podcast and Tower Casuals, the Destiny Podcast. Follow Expansion Pass as part of Nintendo Power Block and on all social media platforms at Power Block Podcast. You can also follow Boss Rush Media and Boss Rush Network on all major social media platforms. Join the Boss Rush Network Discord and Facebook groups to interact with other friends and fans. Thanks for listening, and we'll see you next time.